In the bustling village market, Adisa 15 years old was a well-known troublemaker. At just 15 years old, he had a knack for stirring up trouble wherever he went. He moved through the crowd with the agility of a cat, his eyes scanning for opportunities to create mischief. The village elders often shook their heads, saying, "The young bird does not know that the sun can burn its feathers." One hot afternoon, Adisa spotted a plump fruit vendor dozing off behind her stall. He grinned mischievously and whispered to his friend Tund, "Watch this." With nimble fingers, he snatched a handful of juicy mangoes and slipped them into his tattered bag. Tund chuckled, impressed by Adisa's daring. But Adisa's actions didn't go unnoticed. An elderly man named Baba Ife, who often sat in the market observing the hustle and bustle, had seen the whole incident. Baba Ife was known for his wisdom and often shared his knowledge through proverbs. He approached Adisa and Tund, his eyes stern but kind. "Adisa," he said, "why do you take what is not yours? There is an old saying, the frog does not run in the daytime for nothing. Your actions have consequences, even if you do not see them now." Adisa, feeling a mixture of guilt and defiance, shrugged. "It's just a few mangoes, Baba Ife. It's not a big deal." Baba Ife sighed. "Small actions can have big impacts. Think about how you would feel if someone took what was yours." Unmoved by the advice, Adisa dismissed Baba Ife's words and continued with his antics. Later that day, he and Tund found themselves in a heated argument with another group of boys over a game of football. The disagreement quickly escalated into a physical fight. Adisa, fueled by pride and anger, threw the first punch. The scuffle drew a crowd, and soon the market was in chaos. The fruit vendor, awakened by the commotion, realized her mangoes were missing and began shouting. The village chief, drawn by the noise, arrived to restore order. Seeing Adisa at the center of the trouble, he was disappointed but not surprised. "Adisa," the chief said sternly, "you must learn to control your temper and respect others. The child who is not taught by his mother will be taught by the world. If you continue down this path, the world will teach you harsh lessons." Adisa's pride was wounded, but the chief's words didn't reach his heart. He stormed off, leaving behind a trail of angry mutterings. That night, as he lay in his small bed, he thought about the day's events. Despite his bravado, a small part of him wondered if Baba Ife and the chief were right. 2. The annual village festival was a time of celebration, filled with music, dance, and vibrant colors. It was an event everyone looked forward to, and Adisa saw it as the perfect opportunity for his biggest prank yet. His plan was simple: disrupt the festival's main event, the traditional dance competition. Adisa and his friends prepared by hiding itching powder in the costumes of one of the dance troupes. As the dancers took the stage, Adisa watched with anticipation, expecting chaos to unfold. However, his plan backfired spectacularly. The dancers, despite their discomfort, continued their performance with remarkable grace and determination, earning the admiration of the audience. The village chief, observing the situation, quickly deduced the cause of the disruption. He called for Adisa and his friends to come forward. "Adisa," he said with a tone of disappointment, "your actions have once again shown a lack of respect for our traditions and your fellow villagers. When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. Your behavior reflects poorly on yourself and your family." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Adisa felt a wave of shame wash over him. The chief continued, "We must learn from our mistakes. There is a Yoruba proverb that says, 'The child who does not learn will eventually teach himself through pain.' It is time for you to reflect on your actions and understand the impact they have on others." Adisa was given the task of cleaning up after the festival as a form of restitution. As he worked, he couldn't help but think about the wisdom in the chief's words. His pranks had caused more harm than good, and the laughter they brought was fleeting compared to the lasting disappointment and anger they left behind. Baba Ife approached Adisa as he worked, his expression kind but firm. "Adisa, you have potential, but you must channel it wisely. The river that forgets its source will dry up. Remember your roots, and understand that your actions today shape your future." These words struck a chord with Adisa. He realized that his mischief had not only been a cry for attention but also a reflection of his own dissatisfaction and confusion about his place in the world. That night, as he lay in bed, he made a silent vow to change. He wanted to be more than a troublemaker, he wanted to be someone who brought pride to his family and his village. His family was poor, and the shack they called home was a testament to their struggles. Adisa's parents, uneducated and overwhelmed by poverty, saw little value in schooling. Instead, they focused on day-to-day survival, leaving Adisa to wander the village with no guidance or purpose. From a young age, Adisa was involved in mischief. Stealing from the local market, picking fights, and causing trouble became his way of coping with the harsh realities of his life. The elders in the village often said, "A child left untaught becomes a pain in the neck." Adisa was proving this adage true. One evening, after a particularly rough day, Adisa found himself alone by the village stream. He felt the weight of his actions but didn't know how to change. An elderly man, Baba Ife, who was known for his wisdom, approached him. "Adisa, you are like the seed of a mighty tree. If you stay in the darkness, you will never grow. But if you seek the light, you will become something great." Adisa was skeptical but intrigued. He had never heard anyone speak to him in this way. Baba Ife continued, "Ignorance is a prison. Education is the key that opens the door to freedom. If you are willing to learn, I will teach you." Adisa reluctantly agreed, and thus began his journey out of ignorance. Baba Ife taught him to read and write, opening Adisa's mind to new possibilities. For the first time, Adisa felt a glimmer of hope. He learned the value of education and the power of knowledge. However, old habits die hard. One day, Adisa got into a fight with a boy who had insulted his family. Baba Ife found him afterward, bruised and angry. "Violence begets violence, Adisa. There is a Yoruba proverb that says, 'The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth.' You must learn to control your anger and use your mind instead of your fists." Adisa took these words to heart. With Baba Ife's guidance, he began to resolve conflicts with words and understanding rather than violence. He started helping other children in the village with their studies, slowly earning their respect and friendship. He was no longer the outcast, but a beacon of hope. Despite his progress, Adisa's family continued to struggle. His father fell ill and could no longer work. The burden of providing for the family fell on Adisa's shoulders. He took up odd jobs, determined to keep his family afloat while continuing his education. One day, Adisa overheard a group of villagers planning to steal from a nearby farm. Desperate for money, he considered joining them. But Baba Ife's teachings echoed in his mind, "The path of the wicked is like darkness, they do not know what makes them stumble." He knew that stealing was not the answer. Instead, Adisa approached the farm owner and offered to work in exchange for food and a small wage. Impressed by his honesty, the farmer agreed. This act of integrity not only provided for Adisa's family but also earned him the trust and admiration of the village. Through these challenges, Adisa learned that knowledge, patience, and integrity were powerful tools to overcome adversity. He was determined to rise above his circumstances and help others do the same. The seed of greatness that Baba Ife had seen in him was beginning to sprout, breaking through the shadows of ignorance and into the light. Adisa's journey continued, but the path was fraught with new challenges. His family's poverty was a constant burden, and despite his efforts, they often went to bed hungry. However, Adisa was determined to break free from the cycle of poverty. He believed in the saying, "When the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spreads death to the branches." He knew that without addressing the root causes of his family's struggles, they would never thrive. One morning, as Adisa was working at the farm, he met a young woman named Amina. She was a teacher who had come to the village to start a community school. Amina saw potential in Adisa and offered him a scholarship to attend her school. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world, she told him. Adisa eagerly accepted, seeing this as a chance to further his knowledge and improve his family's situation. However, attending school meant less time to work, and his family's financial struggles intensified. One evening, his mother, weary and frustrated, said, "Adisa, education will not fill our bellies. We need money now." Torn between his education and his family's immediate needs, Adisa sought advice from Baba Ife. "Baba, I want to learn, but my family is suffering. What should I do?" Baba Ife pondered for a moment before responding, "The journey to greatness is never easy, Adisa. There is a proverb, he who thinks he is leading and has no one following him is only taking a walk. You must lead your family out of poverty with both your mind and your hands." With this wisdom, Adisa devised a plan. He spoke with Amina, who agreed to let him work part-time at the school in exchange for his education. He also started a small business, making and selling handcrafted items in the village market. It was a precarious balance, but it allowed him to support his family while continuing his studies. Despite his best efforts, adversity struck again. One day, his younger brother fell seriously ill, and they lacked the money for treatment. Desperate, Adisa considered giving up his education entirely to work full-time. But Amina reminded him, "Giving up your future will not save your present. Find another way." Inspired, Adisa organized a village fundraiser, explaining his brother's plight and the importance of education. The villagers, moved by his determination and honesty, contributed what they could. The funds raised were enough for his brother's treatment, and his health was restored. Adisa's efforts began to pay off. His small business grew, and he was able to save money for his family's needs. More importantly, his education opened new doors. He learned about modern agricultural techniques, which he shared with the farmers in his village, increasing their yields and incomes. The community began to see the value of education and hard work, inspired by Adisa's example. Through these trials, Adisa learned the importance of perseverance, innovation, and community support. He realized that poverty was not just a lack of money but a lack of opportunities and knowledge. By addressing these root causes, he could create lasting change for himself and others. Adisa's journey from the depths of poverty was far from over, but he had made significant strides. He had proven that with determination and the right support, it was possible to overcome even the most daunting challenges. The village, once trapped in a cycle of ignorance and poverty, was beginning to transform, one step at a time. As Adisa's education and business endeavors flourished, another, more insidious challenge began to creep into his life: loneliness. His tireless efforts to improve his family's situation and help his community left little time for personal connections. Despite being surrounded by people, Adisa often felt isolated, carrying the weight of his responsibilities alone. The African proverb, "If you want to go fast, go alone, if you want to go far, go together," often echoed in his mind. One evening, after a long day of work and study, Adisa sat by the village stream, feeling the crushing solitude. Amina noticed his distress and sat beside him. "You have done so much for others, Adisa. But who takes care of you?" Adisa sighed, "I don't know, Amina. Sometimes, I feel like I'm fighting this battle alone. I want to help everyone, but it feels like no one understands what I'm going through." Amina placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You are not alone, Adisa. Remember, a single bracelet does not jingle. You need to let others in, share your burdens, and find strength in companionship." Taking Amina's advice to heart, Adisa began to open up to those around him. He formed a study group with other young people in the village, creating a supportive network where they could share knowledge and encouragement. He also started attending community gatherings more regularly, fostering deeper connections with his neighbors. One day, while working at the market, Adisa met a young woman named Nkechi. She was new to the village, having moved from a distant town in search of a better life. Like Adisa, she had faced numerous hardships and was determined to create a better future for herself. As they talked, Adisa felt an immediate connection with Nkechi. She was intelligent, kind, and shared his passion for education and community development. Over time, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. Nkechi became his confidant and partner, providing emotional support and sharing in his dreams. Together, Adisa and Nkechi embarked on new projects to uplift their village. They organized literacy programs for adults, taught vocational skills, and established a community garden to provide fresh produce for those in need. Their efforts brought people together, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. However, their journey was not without conflict. Some villagers, resistant to change, accused them of disrupting traditional ways of life. "Why do you push us so hard?" one elder demanded. "We have lived this way for generations. Why should we change now?" Adisa responded with the wisdom he had gained: "The world is changing, and we must adapt to survive. There is a saying, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. If we do not support each other and seek progress, we will remain trapped in the cycle of poverty and ignorance." Gradually, the skeptics began to see the benefits of Adisa and Nkechi's initiatives. The community garden flourished, providing food security and improving nutrition. The literacy programs empowered adults to seek better opportunities, and the vocational training helped many start their own small businesses. Adisa's loneliness began to dissipate as he built meaningful relationships and saw the positive impact of his efforts. He learned that true strength comes from connection and that no one can achieve greatness alone. The proverb, "A tree cannot make a forest," resonated deeply with him, reinforcing the importance of community and mutual support. Through these experiences, Adisa not only overcame his own sense of isolation but also helped others find their place within the community. His journey from loneliness to companionship taught him that the bonds we forge with others are essential for personal growth and collective progress. Together, they were building a brighter future, one step at a time. As Adisa's influence in the village grew, so did the expectations placed upon him. He was seen as a leader, a beacon of hope, and a role model for others. While he took pride in these roles, the pressure to always succeed and never falter weighed heavily on him. The Igbo proverb, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown," became a daily reminder of his responsibilities. One day, the village faced a severe drought. Crops failed, and food became scarce. The community looked to Adisa for solutions. "You have helped us before, Adisa. What can we do now?" they asked. Feeling the immense pressure, Adisa spent sleepless nights researching ways to mitigate the drought's impact. He organized a water conservation program and sought assistance from nearby towns. Despite his best efforts, the situation remained dire, and some villagers began to lose faith in his abilities. In a moment of frustration and exhaustion, Adisa confided in Nkechi. "I feel like I'm failing everyone. No matter what I do, it's never enough." Nkechi gently replied, "You are not alone in this, Adisa. We all face challenges, and it's okay to ask for help. There is an African proverb that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We must face this together." Taking Nkechi's words to heart, Adisa called a village meeting. He openly shared his struggles and fears, emphasizing the need for collective effort. "We are stronger together," he said. "Each of us has a role to play in overcoming this crisis." Inspired by his honesty and vulnerability, the villagers rallied together. They implemented water-saving techniques, built communal wells, and organized food distribution networks. The spirit of unity and cooperation revitalized the community, and they slowly began to recover from the drought. Adisa learned a valuable lesson: leadership was not about bearing the weight alone but about empowering others and fostering collaboration. He realized that showing vulnerability and seeking support were signs of strength, not weakness. The proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child," held new meaning for him, as he saw the entire community working together to overcome adversity. As the drought ended and life returned to normal, Adisa faced another challenge. A group of young men, frustrated by their lack of opportunities, turned to crime. Theft and vandalism began to plague the village, threatening the peace and progress Adisa had worked so hard to achieve. Determined to address the root causes of this behavior, Adisa and Gechi organized a series of community dialogues. They listened to the concerns of the young men, understanding that their actions were driven by desperation and a sense of hopelessness. One young man, named Obi, spoke out during one of these sessions. "We have no jobs, no future. What else can we do but steal to survive?" Adisa responded with empathy, "I understand your frustration, Obi. But there is always a better way. Let us work together to create opportunities and build a better future." Through these dialogues, Adisa helped the young men see the potential within themselves. He organized vocational training programs and small business grants, giving them the tools to change their lives. Slowly but surely, the crime rate decreased, and the village became a safer place. These experiences reinforced Adisa's belief in the power of education, empathy, and community support. He understood that real change required addressing underlying issues and empowering individuals to make positive choices. The proverb, "A bird cannot fly with one wing," reminded him that progress was a collective effort, requiring the contributions of everyone. Adisa's journey continued, marked by new challenges and triumphs. He had learned to navigate the burden of expectations by fostering collaboration and empowering others. His village was thriving, and he remained committed to creating a brighter future for all. Years passed, and Adisa's village transformed into a beacon of hope and progress. The once impoverished and ignorant community had become a model of education, unity, and resilience. Adisa, now a respected leader, reflected on his journey and the lessons he had learned along the way. He was guided by the African proverb, "The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth," understanding the importance of nurturing and supporting one another. One day, Adisa received an invitation to speak at a regional conference on community development. It was an opportunity to share his story and inspire others facing similar struggles. As he prepared his speech, he thought about the key moments and conflicts that had shaped his journey. At the conference, Adisa began, "My name is Adisa, and I come from a small village that once knew the depths of ignorance, poverty, and loneliness. But through education, unity, and perseverance, we have risen above our challenges." He shared the story of his transformation, emphasizing the importance of education. "Knowledge is the key that unlocks the door to freedom. It was through learning that I was able to see beyond my circumstances and envision a better future." Adisa spoke about the power of community and the lessons he had learned from Baba Ife, Amina, and Gechi. No one can achieve greatness alone. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a community to create lasting change. Together, we can overcome any obstacle. He also addressed the burden of expectations and the value of vulnerability. As leaders, we must remember that showing our struggles and seeking help does not make us weak. It makes us human and strengthens the bonds within our community. After his speech, many attendees approached Adisa, eager to learn from his experiences and implement similar initiatives in their own communities. He realized that his journey had come full circle. The boy who once felt lost and alone had become a guiding light for others. Back in his village, Adisa continued to work alongside Gechi and the community to create new opportunities and address emerging challenges. They established a scholarship fund for children, built a health clinic, and promoted sustainable farming practices. The village thrived, and its success stories multiplied. One day, a young boy named Kofi, who reminded Adisa of his younger self, approached him with a question. Adisa, how did you find the strength to change your life and help others? Adisa smiled and placed a hand on Kofi's shoulder. Strength comes from within, but it is nurtured by those around us. Remember the proverb, a single bracelet does not jingle. Seek knowledge, lean on your community, and always strive to be better. You have the power to shape your future and inspire others. Adisa's journey from ignorance, poverty, and loneliness to a life of purpose, connection, and leadership was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. His story, filled with conflicts and triumphs, served as a powerful reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, change is possible through education, unity, and perseverance. As the sun set over the village, Adisa stood with Nkechi, watching the children play and the community thrive. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had not only transformed his own life but had also helped countless others find their way. The light of hope shone brightly in his heart, guiding him and his community toward a future filled with endless possibilities. In the heart of Africa, amidst the vibrant energy and enduring spirit of the people, Adisa had found his true calling. The journey from darkness to light was never easy, but it was a path worth walking. Together, they had proven that with determination, support, and a shared vision, anything was possible.